Hi everybody, we are going live today, and today we have a special guest with us, and his name is Pankaj, and I am just in. So yeah, so hi Pankaj, how are
Hi,
you?
hi Geetika, I'm good. How are you doing?
So nice to see you and meet you. I think we had a live session long time back, uh, but today finally we are coming and meeting together, and today we will be deconstructing an amazing movie, right?
Yes, one of our favorites, I guess.
Yeah, I think even I loved this movie. The first time that I saw it, I was like, wow, this is so good, right? And for me, when I saw it, it was like a total business case study for me. So I took out a lot of concepts from there. And, one could deconstruct them in a significant way now that I see this movie. And the movie's name is, of course, Band Baaja and Baraat. I really like this movie. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. It's, I think, one of my favorite movies too. I think I go back to it every few months because firstly, it's so charming, and there is you know just enjoy about the story itself, like the chemistry between the lead pairs, how they've shown Delhi, and how it's a very good rom-com in general. So I
Yeah.
think it's really a really fun movie for me, and like I think in the last 20 years I would say one of the best movies that has come out, and of course it gave the big star that is Ranveer Singh. So yeah, I'm happy to talk to you about it in a different sense,
Yeah.
what we can take concepts about from it.
Right. I really love how you bring up how Delhi is shown in the movie, right? So they have shown the entire Delhi University area as well,
Yeah.
where they show that Bittu and Shruti are, joining this college, have joined this college and are trying to discover themselves. So, just to give you a little background, Shruti also belongs to Delhi, and she stays in West Delhi. And she is a very ambitious girl, and she thinks of starting her own wedding uh, planning, venture. And although she doesn't know what she will be doing, like she doesn't have all the blueprint yet, because she's in college, she just wants to go about it, right? She just wants to just start that business of hers. And so I really like this one scene. I don't know if you remember this, where Bittu and Shruti are eating bread pakoda, and they are sitting outside in the cafeteria, kind of not the cafeteria, outside of the canteen, it seems to me, and they're eating bread pakoda. And initially, this guy Bittu is trying to flirt with her, and he knows that she's not the kind of girl. She is very focused towards what she wants in life, and she has this whole thing figured out for her that she'll work for Chanda Madam, who is apparently a wedding planner herself, and later she will start her own company. She will train with her, and then she will start her own company. So she has that figured out for herself, and she does that, and later she figures out, okay, this is going to be a very good thing. And Bittu, who's really, at this point of time in the movie, he looks like somebody who doesn't really know anything, and he's just like that one of those boys who's trying to just be in whole Delhi area and just learning things. But he sees this girl, and he's like, oh my God, she's starting her own business. I also want to do this business, right? So he tells Shruti that he's eating this bread pakoda, and he's sounding like, mere paas bhi ek business idea hai. And although he doesn't have anything, right? Usko kuch nahi pata hai. And he's just marifying lines to her, and he's saying, "Okay, I have a business idea, and uh, why don't we collaborate of sorts, and we should do something." And to this Shruti says that मुझे ये सब में नहीं पढ़ना है, partnership की complications में नहीं पढ़ना है, I want to do my own thing. Um, so just to point out here that these, from a technical perspective, um, when two people come together, they form a partnership. This is very common, and we all know this, right? She says that मुझे partnership की complications में नहीं पढ़ना है. Maybe she's saying it from a different perspective, but अगर हम partnership की complications को देखें, so there are many, right? So um, whenever somebody forms a partnership, they have to have a partnership agreement related to that and a partnership deed. And there can be a complication also in there. First, obviously, profit sharing ratio and all those things come into picture. But I just point out one concept here, and that concept is unlimited liability.
Mhm.
Uh, Technically, this means that, let's say, if you and me were to partner up for a business, um, अनलिमिटेड लायबिलिटी का मतलब होता है कि दैट टुमारो इफ वी आर गोइंग इन डेट, हमारे बहुत सारे लॉसेस हो जाते हैं एंड देन वी हैव टू पे बैक. सो आवर पर्सनल एसेट्स यानी हमारा घर गाड़ी एंड एवरीथिंग वुड बी यूज्ड टू पे ऑफ दिस डेट, right? So that is a unlimited liability. But if you register as a partnership limited liability company or a firm, then there is limited liability. यानी कि जितना आप बिजनेस में लगा रहे हो उतना ही वहीं से यूज होगा. You are not liable to pay for everything. This is true for sole proprietorship as well. So this concept is, shown. Although she is mentioning मुझे partnership की complication में नहीं पढ़ना, from maybe from a different perspective, because it's a movie and they're trying to just say that, okay, I don't want to get into anything with you, but these are also certain complications in partnership that one sees and goes through. राइट. सो अ बिजनेस पार्टनरशिप के पर्सपेक्टिव से बहुत अच्छा मूवी में दिखाया गया था. आई रियली लाइक्ड इट. So did you also see something or figure out something in the movie?
Yeah, no, firstly, what you mentioned is actually very important. Like, I learned this also in business school. Uh, like, this concept of limited liability is basically, I think, also added, to give
Mm.
a uh, sort of incentive to entrepreneurs, take risk. Because if they
Yeah.
don't, is there is a much higher how many businesses fail, so they don't want entrepreneurs to face that liability of their own personal assets. So I think that
Correct.
was thinking behind it from what I learned. But yeah,
Yeah.
coming back to the film, when this film was released, every year or whenever a new film like releases, how there are some case studies done. So I remember there was so many business schools that started teaching this film as sort of like in their business classes. And there's so much to learn, as you rightly mentioned in this film. But there are two things which I typically like remember the most from this film. The first is that scene, which is basically how do they scale their business. So there is this scene in that film when they both are eating chow mein together. And then she says, like, again, it's the Bittu only. He says कि I forgot the name of the place. जनकपुरी का तो कुछ कर
Yeah,
लिया.
Janakpuri,
That
Janakpuri,
yeah,
Janakpuri area.
yeah. Now अब सैनिक फार्म में कब जाना है? Because
हाँ.
so there are two things here. Firstly, it's sort of the proof of concept कि उन्होंने they started doing this in their own limited locality and they were pretty successful. So they showed that there is a market for this. Now he was trying to convince her, okay, let's increase the scope of our business, which is actually called the scaling of business. So there is this whole concept in business which is called economies of scale. What it basically means is that once you grow, the company is able to reduce its production costs and increase its profitability when it produces more of a given product. This is the pure
Yeah.
definition of economies of scale. So
Correct.
in the film, we see how they wanted to now, like, they've proved their concept in Janakpuri. Now with the same set of resources, or maybe just doing a little bit more, they can also target an event
Scenic.
like Scenic Farms, and that's
Yeah.
how the scale businesses grow. Businesses, take like again like have ambitions. Okay, we've done this. Now we go to the next stage. So that was very interesting. They actually mentioned, they talked about let's scale our business. Now the second thing which I really liked in the film is which is again partnership, and how this partnership is not just a business partnership, but it's partnership of how these two people come together so nicely. So,
Yeah.
when we were saying earlier, Bittu, he's in like idea was Shruti's, but it's Bittu who tries to convince her to, okay, start the business. Likewise, each of them have their own strengths. So,
Correct.
Bittu was very good at organizing, and Shruti was very good at, food and other those sort of things. And that's why when they had problems and then decided to break their partnership, they just floundered. Both of them floundered, and they started their own ventures. He started, I think, Shadi Mubarak second. I forgot the name. He had a very funny name.
Happy
Happy
wedding or
Wedding.
something.
So that failed, and her venture also started failing because they didn't realize ki both of them have their own unique strengths, and that's
Yeah.
business was being successfully run. So we might
Right.
not realize it once you are there, but it's actually only in the absence of somebody you learn how valuable they were. And that's why
Yeah.
at the end, finally that Manish, I forgot Manish Gupta, that other that who जिसकी daughter की शादी होने होती है, he put
Right.
specific condition, I want both of you to work together, and that's how
Right.
it was successful. So again, like there's a lot of other things in this film, but I particularly remembered these two when we think of Band Baaja Baraat.
Right, and how they are, like how rightly you said, how they're complementing each other,
Right,
right?
right,
So, he's bringing in the strength of working in certain areas. He's very good at that. While a little Shruti is more of analytical kinds, and she knows, ye
right.
aise hoga, ye aise hoga, like that. So they both are complementing each other, and then they're starting their own partnership business. So yeah, that was really nice. And is there something else that you saw like related to their teams or something?
No, I think I just remembered when that scene that you talked about, and मेरे को वो dialogue याद है, जिसके साथ प्यार करो और जिसके साथ व्यापार करो उससे कभी ना प्यार करो. That was like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
actually, in a way, if you think about it, it's very true. Like, don't mix
yeah.
your personal life with
And
business.
professional.
And that's how a
That's
lot.
true everywhere. I feel like, although
Right.
businessmen more so, yeah.
Right, right. So again, like there's so many other things, and then again that little thing, when they were struggling to find initial capital for their business, they went
Mm.
and pleaded with that flower guy, कि आप हमें chance तो दो एक बार, So they were so good at convincing people, and even when they were
Yeah,
convincing the जो एक hi-fi couple, Pankaj sir and somebody,
right,
they did their research very well. उनको
right.
convince they're so good at like convincing to their investors, convincing to their customers, and then partnership. This film is very good if somebody really wants to understand entrepreneurship.
Yeah, and I think you bought in the concept of pitching, right? So they were pitching to their customers so well. The first lady जिसके पास वो जाते हैं उसको बोलते हैं कि you also started somewhere, right? And we are also asking for that kind of chance, and this is like a good big client for them. So, a very good way to start off, pitch yourself without being afraid, so confident and well researched. I think these are some of the criterias to have whenever you're pitching somebody, anybody rather,
Right,
right? When you're starting off and you want to tell people that the services that you offer. So I think ये तीन चार चीजें तो मतलब like super important है. So I think yeah, this movie is full of concepts. It started with partnership. We covered pitching. We covered teamwork. We covered scaling. So
right.
yeah, this is so good,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Wow. So such great talking to you, Pankaj. And I think we covered a case study today. It was a case study itself on partnership with Band Baaja Baraat. Such a nice movie. Thank you. So there are so many people who've joined us. So thank you so much, whoever had joined us or wherever you're watching this, if you're watching this on replay. Thank you all for joining us. And yeah, So I think we will end it today for because we've covered all the concepts that we saw in the movie. If there are any concepts that you saw in the movie, please write it in the comment section area so that we also get to know if we have missed out on something. So thank you so much, Pankaj, for your time today. Really, really appreciate it, and I look forward for more such case studies like that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kritika. Yes, happy to talk about movies anytime and really enjoy. Again, those who listen to us, I would recommend, to go and see your channel, how you bring a different side of learning from films, which is learning perspective on your YouTube channel as well as your Instagram account, and very, very innovative reels. So if anybody who's listening today, I would recommend to follow and also see the content that Geetika is preparing on her account. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. It'll be a goodbye from my end. So,
Yeah,
bye everybody. Please take care. Thank you for watching.
yeah. Thanks so much again.
Bye.